Hello and welcome back to the chronicles of myself, Commander Eddie Rio, within this mesmerising game of Elite Dangerous. So here we are outside what we've dubbed as the Brown Ninja, the planet with huge rings around it, the resource extraction site in Luton Star, which has sort of kind of become our home. It's a very target-rich environment, and I like to try and pop out here as much as I can and claim a few bounties. And here we are straight away with a python as soon as I land in the site, and I don't bother to look at how much he's worth. I just think let's just go for him. I always get a lot of help from other bounty hunters in this extraction site, and it's a great way of making up some credits. I've actually got my eye set on a python at the moment to work up to get one. They're well over 50 million credits, which is going to take some going, seeing as I only have a couple of million in the bank. But I do love the Cobra that I'm flying at the moment, and I'm starting to pimp it out and make it quite nice to fly, spending some credits on the weapons and things like that. I've actually just got a kill warrant scanner, which I should have used for this. I'll have to assign that to a group after I finish killing this python, so that I can scan ships and collect some bounties in some other faction areas as well where they might be wanted, and increase my sort of credit to time ratio. And here we go. Kaboom. I do love that animation as the ship blows up in front of you there. So just set my fire groups. As you can see, I've got kind of a few other little things: discovery scanner, shield cell bank, and an interdictor. All things, you know, I keep playing with every now and again, but the best way I've found to make the credits at the moment is the resource extraction site. So I think I'll be hitting this pretty hard, perhaps until I could get into a larger hauling ship and make a few trade runs. Obviously, there is the rare trades run that you can do, which can be very profitable, but I don't seem to find that enjoyable compared to the normal trading or the fighting in the resource extraction sites, or in sort of jumping in and out of unidentified signal sources. So I think I'll leave the rare trade runs to other people. So I've been reading up a little bit about PowerPlay, which is going to be the next kind of patch to hit us, and it's also going to have some changes to the sort of crime system within the game as well. And this is something that I'm really looking forward to. I cannot wait for PowerPlay. I think it's going to really get me stuck into the game again and enjoying it on a whole new level. Obviously, having played many years of EVE Online, I have to compare it with that, I guess, because it sounds very similar to faction warfare within EVE. You can see I've already got 114,000 credits in bounty at the moment in this extraction site, and you know, I've only been in here a few minutes, so really profitable. But yeah, so we're going to be able to kind of sign ourselves over to a group or a party or a power or some group of dominance within the game, and I think there's going to be quite a lot of them. I think I heard that there's going to be sort of, you know, up to 20 different groups that you can align yourself with, and the kind of ebb and flow of how that's going to work within the galaxy and what kind of areas of space they control and manage, and not just the fact that you're going to be able to fight with each other in a kind of legal way without getting any bounties put on your head, or being chased down by federal police because you're allowed to fight each other. It's also going to be other tasks like missions, could be some mining stuff that you need to do, and other things that you can do to build up the reputation of your faction or your group, your power within the game. And I think that's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be very difficult, perhaps, where we're going to have large groups that have already formed that are probably going to join and adopt perhaps one power, and that power could become very strong very quickly because they have a lot of numbers and a lot of people that are going to join that. I think it's also going to be quite interesting where you say there might be two empire-based groups, and they could end up being at war with each other. And what happens if you're shooting other Empire pilots, but you're legally allowed to do so because your powers are kind of at war with each other. But I think, you know, there's lots of interesting things, and the ebb and flow of the galaxy is going to be really quick and moving fast, and it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of represent that as well, perhaps within the galaxy map, to show perhaps who's the dominant power within that area, whether they can color code it or do it in some way. I think that's going to be really interesting to see, and I'm definitely looking forward to kind of getting stuck in and picking a power of a group to play with. And so is Derek, by the sounds of it, squawking away there. I also think it's great that they're bringing it out on the Mac and also on the Xbox One, because I think that anything like that brings new people into the game, they're getting a new kind of cash injection at the same time to be able to keep developing the game, and it's just going to push the game forwards and forwards with everything that they do like that. So I'm really looking forward to having a lot more new players enter the fray of Elite Dangerous. So we've gone from a Federal dropship to now an Imperial Clipper, and I definitely need to change my pulse lasers to a fixed version of the weapon. I was perhaps thinking of going for beam lasers because they do a hell of a lot of damage, and especially up against bigger ships like this, aiming isn't really a problem. You can keep your center of your screen targeted on your target ship quite easily. I've also got the fragment cannon, which also looks pretty interesting. I definitely want to give that a go as well. So I'm already at around 200,000 credits in bounties that I've made since I've come out, and I've been here probably about 5 or 6 minutes, so I'm doing pretty well. Just going to sort of drift around and look for my next target. So in reading the newsletter, newsletter 72, where they talk about PowerPlay, one of the things that I like them talking about is why you're going to choose the particular power you want. And I love the kind of lore and the stories and the stuff behind Elite Dangerous as well. And I think it's just going to kind of chuck a hell of a lot of content in the form of lore and story at us to follow. If they give us all these kind of groups that we can become a part of, they're going to have to kind of create a history and a figurehead and something to follow and really get into. And I've always kind of admired the underdogs, people in Eve. I used to play as the Minmatar, which was the kind of the slave race, as it were. And I'm looking forward to reading all the descriptions and the details that they're going to give us on all these different powers that we can choose. And then, of course, eventually making my pick and hopefully picking the same one as all my friends as well, so that we can all sort of work towards these little goals ourselves. But you don't have to stick within your group. I think you will be able to move. Obviously there would have to be some kind of penalization or some form of something that can stop you just freely moving from one to the other as you want. And perhaps if you build up your strength within one power too much, you can't then join another power, or you have to do something to kind of set your standings back down so that you can then join somewhere else. So I wrote down a quote from the newsletter 72 that I found quite interesting, which was, we've had a lot to add to the galaxy map. PowerPlay is like a massive strategy board game, but our conflicts play out in 3 dimensions, and we have to make that readable for players. So again, that's going back to how they're going to represent that in the map, and the kind of new things that you're going to be able to open up, the statistics, the conquest and control of your areas and your powers, and how that's going to work. So really excited to see how this is going to be implemented, and I think it's the kind of it's the patch that the game really needs, that is going to drag a lot of people back into this and get them really playing it. So I think I'll take on one more ship, and then I'll think about going and claiming these bounties at the station. Is this guy wanted? Yes. Okay, so we'll take this guy down, and then we'll head back and see how much we've made. What else? So we have some 2 new ships that will also be coming as well. I think it was a Lakon something back, I can't, Gorilla back, and an Imperial ship as well that looked a lot like the Imperial Clipper on the picture that they showed of it in the newsletter. That looks really cool. I think they're going to be quite expensive ships, so they're going to be way off my budget for a little bit, but definitely nice to have a few more ships in the game. Look at this, fighting up against this dropship. Look at that, close as you can get. Gaz Lizard. This is the kind of fighting I like. Oh, look at that explosion come out the back of him there, as someone obviously took out one of his modules there. That's great. They've got quite a bit of a hull on these dropships. We're doing a hell of a lot of damage here, right up close, and he's not dropping that fast. I think we should down him before his shields go back online. Yeah, he's starting to drop quite quickly now. And I love that kind of pause when it hits 0%. And then the explosion. 115,000 credits for that one as well. So let's take a quick look. Almost 420,000 credits just in this area. And, you know, almost 100,000 credits can be claimed in the other parts of space, which is awesome. Great little bit of work there. And I've been out here for about 10-15 minutes, I think. So I think it's probably time to head back. So we'll just boost out of the mass lock of the rings and then head back to Ashby Station and go and claim all these bounties. So here we are docking up in Ashby City, and I'll just open up the contacts tab and local security office. Redeem vouchers, 422,000, and the Sirius Corporation that are here as well for 27,000. So almost 500,000 credits there. Not a bad little run. And nice little chat about the PowerPlay patch that should be coming soon. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give it a thumbs up and a like and all that good stuff. And I shall catch you in the next one. Till next time. Fly safe.